NMBT, National Muslim Basketball Tour.
It's very motivating, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin, to be amongst my brothers, alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. I was asked to talk about the role of the youth in our society. So I thought one of the key things that, subhanAllah, throughout my life, one of the toughest questions that I was faced with was to figure out really, what am I supposed to be doing? What is really my job? In Arabic it's called risalatak fil hayat. What is your role in life? I am not talking about, just what is your role getting married and having kids. No, but seriously, as a Muslim, as a believer, what am I supposed to be doing? I see a lot of atrocities throughout the world and so forth. And one of the key questions that's always been puzzling me is that, what is one person, what can I do? What am I supposed to, what Allah expects from me? So, subhanAllah, looking through, it took me probably 38 years to figure out at least what my message, what my role in life, or what I want to commit myself to doing. So, as I was going through history, going through the seerah, going through great people that went through, I ran into three stories that youth, young men that grew up, subhanAllah, as just regular human beings, regular members of society, living normal life. One of them was selling stuff in the market. The other one was just going to school, having fun, was ridiculously rich. But they ended up making the biggest impact in society. So I was like, subhanAllah, wow, that person could have been amongst us. But they didn't know that they're going to be those great heroes that now when we mention their names, we're like, wow, subhanAllah. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, or Imam Abu Hanifa, and those great figures, Malik and so forth. But when they were growing up, they were just regular people. They went through some incidents in their life, some, call it U-turns, call it whatever you want to call it, subhanAllah. But it opened their eyes to the real potential inside of them. And they felt special. They felt like, you know what? I can do better. That's not, I have more. They aspire to do more than just being a successful businessman or a successful student for this scholar or that scholar. So, subhanAllah, I was reflecting on the subject that I was requested to talk about, which was our duties in general. So, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sunan. He has paths, sunan, rules that He set in this life. And in order for us to understand our role, we also have to understand the system in life. We all know, there's the natural system, water circulation, plants, dependencies, animals depend on plants for food. Some animals depend on other animals in the food. Also in society, from a social side, there's also that circle, right? Young ones will become adults, adults will become parents, parents will become grandparents. If we pause and if we stop that chain, if we don't recognize that chain, it will throw an imbalance in the whole system. And similarly, in order for us to continue, because we believe that Islam, the message of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the book of Allah, is universal and it's fit for all times, this renewal, this cycle in life, requires that the youth, the young men and women, as part of their maturity and so forth, just like they grow up physically, they need to also connect socially and realize, okay, other than me going to school and going to college, what is my society, what is my role towards my society as a Muslim? So the three stories, subhanAllah, just for reminding myself, I should start with the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and that really what opened my eye to it. Rasulullah ﷺ said, كل رجل من المسلمين على ثغرة من ثغر الإسلام. Allah لا يؤتى الإسلام من قبله. Every man, and man here is not a gender, but every individual of the Muslims has a unique role. You are actually covering up, just like in a basketball team. If you're in defense, you're covering defense. If you're in offense, you're covering offense. As long as you're doing your job, the coach is not going to ask you why the offense actually failed, because you are doing your part. Rasul said, Allah, watch out, watch out. He's reminding you by Allah, لا يؤتين الإسلام من ثغرك. Do not let Islam lose from your side. wait a minute. Me as a student in high school or a student in college or as a parent in Tinley Park or whatever, Islam's going to lose just from my little corner? Yes. You have that specific of a job that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is expecting from you. And if you don't realize it, go and read your Quran. And if you don't realize it, that means we are in a state of ghafla. We are in a state of ignorance and just putting things aside and not realizing what I'm supposed to be doing. But come the test, you're going to realize and fail. So, I like the beautiful comment from Sheikh Suhaib. It's really not that complicated. Our job as Muslims, our duty in this country and in everywhere throughout history is to contemporize Islam. Is to really understand and bring Islam to practice. Islam is not just in books. Islam is a way of life. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu anha, when she described the manners of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, she said, كَانَ خُلُقُهُ الْقُرْآنِ. His manners, he was a living Quran. He was a role model for people to, if you want to understand Quran, look at the life of the Prophet. So let's ask ourselves, if I want to understand Islam today, is it safe to look at the life of Muslims? Is it safe for me to look at the life of Muhammad and Ibrahim and Khalil and Aisha and Sarah and say, this is how Islam is? You be the judge. As long as you are comfortable that if people look at you and say, wow, this is how Islam is, then inshallah you're safe. 3 quick stories. I know you're taking a break from the game. I won't take too much of your time. As a matter of fact, I'll focus on one story. SubhanAllah, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. We all know who Umar is, but at age 11, when he was 11 years old, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, his paycheck, he was extremely rich, by the way, if you know his upbringing. His paycheck was 4,000 dinar a month, where compared to the Wali al-Madina, the ruler of al-Madina, his paycheck was 1,000 dinar. So he used to get 4 times the paycheck of the ruler of al-Madina, because he was from Bani Umayyah and he was the cousin of al-Khalifa. So as an 11-year-old student in al-Madina, growing up ridiculous, filthy rich, not filthy, but very rich, one day he was late for prayer. He was late for Salat al-Jama'ah, and he came to the masjid. He was late because his servant was fixing his hair. Get it? His servant was fixing his hair before he goes to the masjid. So his teacher, subhanAllah, grabbed him and he said, Ya Umar, what happened? You were late. So he told him, I was late because my servant was fixing my hair. So he was honest, he was truthful. So he gave him a piece of it basically. He's like, you have the guts to, not only you're late, but you actually have the guts to actually tell me that you have a servant that's just dedicated to fix your hair? He said, listen, by Allah, since I learned that lying is a degradation of my personality, I have never lied and I will never lie either. But he learned a lesson from his teacher about his potential and his role. And it turned his life to try to become like his grandfather, Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anhu. I'm just going to mention some of the accomplishments of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz only became a zahid after he became Khalifa actually. Before that, he was enjoying life as a part of the Umayyads and so forth. And towards, maybe the last year or so before he became Khalifa, he became a zahid and he actually put life. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was the first leader to set a difference between the wealth of the ummah, what we now call Bayt Mal al-Muslimin, the money of the Muslims, and the wealth of the Khalifa, the leader. Before him, the two were the same. People pay zakah, people collect money and so forth, and it's just the money of the Muslim leadership. Hence, the government was very rich and the people were starving. When he became Khalifa, he set the rule. It said, no. That's not my money as a Khalifa. My income is this, 200 dinar, and that's it. Compared to when he was 11-year-old, he used to have 4,000 dinar. That's the transformation, that when he realized what is his job. So his job, what he set for himself, was to reform Islam. Was to bring back Islam to what it truly means. So he made government financial reform. That's number one. He reformed the political selection of the Khalifa. The first day then when he was selected, when he was appointed by the Khalifa before him, he said, no, that's not how it works. You do not have to accept me as the Khalifa. You go and select whoever you want. And right away people said, are you kidding me? We just got rid of the Umayyads. You are our Khalifa. And they appointed him. And I will conclude with this. What made him unique was not his style, although he was very eloquent. Was not the fact that he was a very good politician, because he was. Was not that he knew how to handle media, because he did. But he was sincere. You know, what made him different, that he had Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his heart. Because he actually started with himself. It wasn't about just the reform that he did. That reform started with him by tearing the deeds of the land that he owned from gifts of the previous Khalifa. He started with himself. That's why the truth actually came throughout his words. And subhanAllah, whatever it is that you want to be, whatever you want to aspire to be, it doesn't have, you can be a doctor, a judge, a lawyer, an artist, a business owner, whatever it is. I'm not telling you to go on one track, but whatever it is that you want to be, you better aim high. Aim very high. Be proud of who you are. SubhanAllah, there's a quote by Shaquille O'Neal the other day in a magazine. He was talking about in his upbringing that his mom caught him once. I don't remember if it was drug or planning to steal something. She caught him once and she taught him one lesson, subhanAllah. And al-hikmatu dallatil mu'min. The wisdom is what we seek wisdom regardless from who. The words of his mom should be written in gold. She told him, listen, whatever you want to do, go do whatever you want, as long as you are leading based on your value system. Don't follow. Don't be a follower. Be a leader. That's the first takeaway is, if you want to be successful, if you want to follow only one man, alayhi salatu wasalam, our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Aim high, be a leader, don't be a follower. And in order for you to deliver the message of Allah, in order for you to be a role citizen, an exemplary citizen in this country, you're going to need a lot of support. I will conclude with one advice for that vitamin that you're going to need to be successful. Habrul Ummah, Abdullah bin Abbas says, he narrates that the Prophet taught him that al-hasana, a good deed that you do, has 5 benefits, 5 reflections. The first one, it has a light in your heart. Nuran fil qalb. Wa diya'an fil wajh. And it has a brightness in your face. Wa sa'atan fil rizq. And an increase in your wealth. Wa quwwatan fil badan. And an increase in your strength, in your physical body strength. And the last but not least, wa mahabbatan fi qulub an-nas. And the love that Allah will put in the hearts of people for you. And you're going to need all those 5 in your path to be an exemplary Muslim citizen in this country. Jazakumullah khair for your attention. Ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless this gathering. Bless our brothers with NMBT for this beautiful tournament. Congratulations for all of you, for all the winners. Inshallah, everyone is a winner here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta.